That is right, ladies and gentlemen, you've read the notification correctly. We are back with some more Gran Turismo 7 action, kick-starting off the main GT7 leagues. I'm just going to give a bit of a disclaimer right here, right now, before we get the stream started. If you are listening to this piece of audio right now, and that means my internet would have been stable enough to have streamed the whole race. Currently experiencing a few internet issues. I've got my Ethernet cable arriving tomorrow at the time of recording, so it should be better from there on in. So, but if you're not listening to this audio, then I would have disconnected during the race. But if you're not listening to this audio, this video wouldn't have been uploaded. So if you are listening to this, then it would have been fine. So I didn't need to give you the warning, but just to give you a warning just in case the stream cuts out halfway through the race. With that out of the way, hello everyone and welcome back to the GT7 action for the main league once again. I'm your commentator, XNattyG, once again in the box for another season full of action and excitement. We have 11 races lined up for you today, and a bit of a throwback to season 1 from GT Sport, where we're at the Nurburgring for the opening round of this GT7 season. We've got 11 drivers on the grid that might get promoted to 12 and a few people joining. It should be fun, it should be good, and we should have a nice closely packed competitive grid with a lot of fast drivers fighting for the top step on the podium each week and at every race. We've got I'll run you through the drivers in a bit, but just a little bit of, I guess, admin stuff to go through, the settings that we're running. So league races in this league roughly last about 55 minutes, with 3 minutes either under or over, roughly that kind of time period. And we've got 11 races on the calendar. We've got a few starting off in Europe. We head over to America for one race, kind of like Miami, back to Europe, over to Asia, and then down to South America, and then North America for the final 2 races of the season. We're in the Group 3 cars, or GT3, Group 3, whatever you want to call them, and we've got the tyre wear on ×3, fuel ×2, and the refueling speed of 4 litres per second. Quali rules and tyre rules, so you do not need to qualify on the tyres you want to start the race on. Finn and Costa doing their quali laps on the mediums, whereas others are doing theirs on the soft. It doesn't mean they're going to start the race on that tyre. It's whatever they entered this race will be the tyre that they start the race on. In terms of the tyre rules for the race, drivers must use 2 different tyre compounds throughout the course of the race weekend. That could be soft and medium, medium and hard, soft and hard. They can do whatever tyres they want, but they just have to use 2 different sets throughout the race. Failure to do so will result in a 1-minute penalty being added onto their time at the end of the race. Those who are watching the stream now, well, welcome. Firstly, can you let me know in the chat if my audio is up and running and you can hear me loud and clear, whether you like it or not? Can't do much about that, I'm afraid, but just want to make sure you can hear me. I will do a little test myself just to make sure. And yeah, on my end it sounds all good, so we should be fine for 29 laps of action here at the Nurburgring. Currently in qualifying. It might not look like it officially, but we're 6 minutes in. Look in the bottom left hand side corner of your screen, and that is how long we've had of qualifying. What else is there to do? It's been a while since we've done one of these season openers. Let's run you through the driver list. So we've got Costa and Finn, both in the Ford Mustang, teaming up for this season. We've got Ted currently in 3rd place. He's teammates with Wolfie, currently running in 6th place. Camera Kaboom is teaming up with Piero. We've got Born Evil on the grid once again, teaming up with Tobster, 2 mini-season champions. Tiger Assassin on the grid once again for BCMR, teammates with 2 Saints. 3-time GT Sport Constructors champions. They'll be looking to kick-start their season off with a strong result at the end of the race. And we've also got NB in today and Nathaniel, whose teammates I don't think are here at tonight's race. We've got 12 drivers on the grid, but 14 in total. The Nürburgring is one of those tracks where it can rain. There is a possibility for rain, and it is looking a little bit overcast 7 minutes into the qualifying session. And I'm not going to say anything too soon, but the last time we were at this race, it got quite I was going to say something, but I'm going to retract that statement. Things escalated pretty quickly with the weather. The torrential rain plummeted on the circuit, catching out quite a few drivers. But let's go through the grid then. We've got Tiger Assassin on provisional pole position, only 300 ahead of Bon Evil, who's 4/10 clear of Cameron Kaboom. I don't think Two Saints set a lap yet. He's on his out lap. He joined the lobby just a little bit late after a little bit of a connection issue, it seemed, at the start. I think he said his game crashed. He's on the soft compound of tyre. Looks like Costa and Finn have both pitted for a set of the softs. They're doing one banker on the mediums before coming back in for a set of the soft compound tyres. Maybe just trying to see what the medium compound tyre feels like for the race. It could be a popular race tyre here at the Nurburgring, where tyre wear it's not horrendous, but it is up there with one of the worst on this set of on the calendar and the set of tracks that I've selected for the opening season. Especially the heavy downhill braking zone in towards the first corner. You've got the hairpin before the Schumacher S's, and you've also got the little chicane in the final sector, followed by a lot of medium speed corners, as Bon Evil actually goes provisional pole on the last lap with a 1 minute 54.179, and that is 6/10 clear of Tiger Assassin in second place. Now, I know we're only 8 minutes into qualifying, and the gaps may seem like, 6/10, 4/10. It might look like a lot, but trust me, by the time we get to the end of the qualifying, by the time we get to the end of the race, this grid, you could probably fit maybe 3 or 4 iPhones in between some of the drivers when we get to the race. Trust me, guys, we've got action lined up for you for the next 12 weeks and 11 races. But if you haven't watched any of the GT Sports, any of the GT Sport races, then I highly recommend you head over to our YouTube channel at Gavra Racing to watch as many of them as you can. Obviously, don't watch it now if you're watching it live, because we've got live action. It's only live once, so tune in for 29 laps here at the Nurburgring. Tiger Assassin going purple through the first sector. If you don't know what that means, if you're new to motorsport, if you're purple, it means you've set the fastest sector time of anyone else in the circuit. If you don't know what the sectors are, the track is separated into a number of different chunks, also called sectors, and Tiger Assassin's gone purple through another one of them. A little bit of dust being kicked up through the Schumacher S's, but that's all perfectly normal. The soft compound tyres that he's got on the car look a little bit worn. He may be putting into the pits at the end of this lap if this sector is not purple, if he messes up the final chicane, but I have every faith in him not doing so, and he's 800ths purple through the third sector. This track made up of 4 sectors for some reason. I don't know why they couldn't have condensed it down to 3, like the F1 layout from 2013 or even 2020. But nevertheless, Tiger Assassin rounding the penultimate corner, the final chicane. He's got some nice slipstream from Piero, which he might have got throughout the lap, but it becomes dirty air through the final corner. The Mercedes versus the McLaren, essentially, up to the line. Piero goes into 5th, Tiger goes up into 7th, 2nd, 3/10, or nearly 3/10 off of Bon Evil's time, but on a fairly worn set of soft compound tyres. But as the fuel goes down in the qualifying session, the lap times will get quicker. And because there is no official qualifying, I do have to remind the drivers how long is left. Obviously, they can look in the bottom left-hand side corner of the screen and see the timer, but they're probably not going to be doing that when racing. Costa up into 3rd place, 4,000 quicker than Two Saints. This is what I was saying earlier about the fine margins. Costa currently beating his teammate Finn, who we know is really quick from previous GT Sport races, making his GT7 debut, I believe, for Gavra Racing, although a familiar name and a familiar face from GT Sport. Unfortunately for him, never stood on the top step of the podium, I believe. That is mainly because of me. I didn't take him out. My commentators gave him a nice curse during that particular Lago Maggiore race. We don't need to talk about that too much. That is in the past. We are now in the present, and also at the Nurburgring. Let's see what Finn can do, though, in the upcoming race. Currently in 5th place, a 2nd off pole position, but I reckon he's got a couple more tenths to find. Bon Evil pulls into the pits as Cameron Kaboom Wolfie complete their outlap. Piero approaching the final sector, but I think he's gonna box this lap, or he's setting himself up for another lap because he was ahead of Tiger, is now behind. Could have been maybe a swap for the slipstream, but we'll see if he's going to improve. I don't think he's going to improve, and it's 55.9 approaching the line now. No, it's 57.8. We've got one of the FGR cars coming around the final corner. It is Finn, who improves by an interesting number. Well, speaking of commentator cursing him, that could be the cherry on top, improving by 6/10, 600ths and 6,000ths, without saying the specific number itself. But it does go up into 5th place, as Topster actually goes 2/10 off Bon Evil, who has set the provisional pole set time. As things stand, Tiger Assassin only 300ths clear of his teammate, the Season 1 GT Sport champion, running in 4th place at the minute, but we know the pace that he has. We've seen it before. He's won races, he's got podiums, he's got poles, he knows how to do it. The top 5, all very much experienced Gavra Racing front runners per se from GT Sport. Obviously we've got drivers like Wolfie, Piero, Ted as well, who have been up there in the past as well. Piero down in 9th place currently, 1.8 seconds off provisional pole, and we know he's got pace, and he's in the McLaren 650S, which is a good choice of a car. It's a nice car, it handles well, but I think it just lacks a little bit of straight line speed compared to the other cars that we have on the grid today. And with the main overtaking opportunities down at turn 1 and turn 13, Piero might struggle to find himself getting his way through the field without making, I don't know where I'm going with that, with the making part of the equation, but we'll roll with it anyway. Wolfie in the Subaru won a race in Monza in one of the mini seasons that we ran earlier on in the year, currently in 8th place, ahead of his teammate Ted, who runs in 11th with a 3-second time penalty. That would have been for cutting the white line over the pit lane entrance, or potentially on exit. Cameron Kaboom up to the line, goes up into 3rd place. We just about missed him, trying to scroll down to his initial position, opting for the Porsche this season, teaming up with Piero. And the Porsche, I think, is another decent selection. I don't really know too much about it in this game. It was a car I liked in GT Sport, it had good handling, and I think it's a nice all-round balanced car. So nice stable choice for Cameron. Goes up into P3, but you know what I was saying at the start of the race when Bon Evil was on pole by 6/10, well, that 6/10 gap now separates the top 7, and that's how close. Look at the margins between the drivers on the grid. I need to put the 5-minute warning in the chat. Can't forget that, otherwise I'll get attacked, I'll get abused. We can't be having that. You can't see me getting abused, especially not live. But that could make for some good headlines and a nice title. Commentator attacked during live stream. Only at Gavra Racing do you get that. That would be some nice action. I am trying to find some statistics for you, ladies and gentlemen, but I am just kind of struggling to do more than one thing, because I am a man. We only do one thing at a time, we can't multitask, it's just something. So if any women are watching, you try commentating on a live race while looking for some statistics. That's not no, I didn't mean it like that. I mean, women can multitask, men can't. So all the comments, I see them rolling in. I can already see them coming in. But you know, us guys struggle to do things at once. I can barely look at an apex whilst braking at the 100-meter pole. Anyway, let's not talk about my racing ability. Let's talk about someone else's racing ability. Tiger Assassin up to the line. Shocking. 2.3 seconds off pole, but I didn't mean it like that. Let's get a hot lap with your Mount Panorama King in towards turn 1. Heavy braking before hitting the apex beautifully on the inside. Dragging it out, not all the way wide, because you need to cut it back in for this left-hander. Turn 2. Easy on the throttle. Foot flat to the floor on the exit, using all the curb available on the left-hand side. Nice dabs on the brakes. making his way through the tricky technical left-right of turn 3 and 4 as the clouds start to illuminate large. Maybe illuminate's not the correct words, but we'll go with it anyway. In towards 5. Nice 2 sets of medium speed corners. They really do flow into one another. That's the thing about this track here at the Nurburgring. Each corner kind of flows into the next. He's got a nice toe from, I think that's Piero in front of him, braking as the curbs, well the grass stops, on the left hand side. He decides to take a wide line on the entrance and cut into the apex on the exit to give him the best exit speed possible in the run up towards the Schumacher S's. Up the little hill he goes, riding all the curb available on the inside, completely flat out, a headwind of 5 meters per second, really helping, well, slowing down the cars just enough in order to take those sets of corners completely flat through the, well, approaching the end of the 3rd sector, the start of the final. He's still purple through the 3rd sector. This could be a pole time, well, a lap good enough for pole position from Tiger Assassin as he makes his way up the little hill, braking at the 100-meter board in towards the final chicane, uses all the curb available on the inside. Shouldn't get a penalty for that, I don't think, but he uses the curb on the left-hand side to bring it in all the way to the apex, working his way on the throttle up into 3rd, 4th gear, up to the line. What lap time is it going to be? It's good enough for 3rd place, and it's 2.22 seconds. No, sorry, 0.222 seconds off pole position, which is still being held by Bonnie Evil. It is a 1-2 for Team Bonnie and Tobster. I didn't actually send a message out asking for their team names. That's my bad. So I'm going to have to go by their names essentially. But look how close the field is spread. I still haven't got my statistics up because I am a numpty and I haven't really been concentrating on that, but we don't care about statistics. We're here for the entertainment, the action. I'll give you some statistics during the race. Wolfie currently in 7th place. We know he's capable of making his way through the field because he won a race in Monza. He's also familiar with running with some of the front guys from the GT Sport 2nd Division a few seasons ago on GT Sport. But the first season of GT7 we do have a full grid of 14, only 12 here tonight unfortunately, but that doesn't matter, we've still got a nicely sized grid of 12 drivers. Piero with a 5/10 penalty will be forced to serve it at the next detection zone. For those who don't know where the penalty detection zone is, it is just coming up now, but look in the bottom left, we've got 3, 2, 1, and that is time up. I don't know why I'm talking like this. What am I trying to say? Last lap, so let's try and see. Look in the map, who's that coming around the final corner? Unfortunate for them, it is Bon Evil who comes up to the line. Can he improve? No, he can't. He's a second off his personal best, and that is Bon Evil on provisional pole for now. What can Cameron Kaboom do? He's got damage. I don't think he's going to improve. If he improves, it'll be a miracle, and no, he does not. What about Tiger Assassin? Up to the line. This could be good. It looks okay. It is good. I didn't think it would be good. He improves by 0.08 of a second, goes up into 2nd place alongside Bon Evil on the front row of the grid. What about Nathaniel or Finn? Up to the line for both of them. Nathaniel doesn't improve. Finn does improve, goes up into 5th place. Wolfie and Toussaint don't improve on their laps, and they will start in 7th and 6th place respectively. Piero has crossed the line, will start no higher than 8th place. What about Ted MC? One of the last drivers to set a lap. I think we've also got ND as well, who's eligible to finish their lap. Ted making his way through the final chicane, currently running in 9th position, but has bowed out and will peel into the pits. ND, though, he is improving by 1/10.5 through the 3rd sector. Can he make his way up the grid a little bit higher than 10th place as he makes his way through the final chicane in the Nissan? A bold selection. He cut the second half of the chicane slightly on the inside. Will the game slap him in the face with a 5/10 penalty? There it is, and ND won't improve, and that is your grid nearly lined up at turn 1. Bon Evil will start this race on pole position, and the host is going to the toilet, so when the host gets back we can begin. I should say that in the chat. When host gets... I don't really need to read it out loud. Can I try and do 2 things at once? Can I type this message and say some stuff on the stream? Let's give it a go. I've already forgotten what I'm trying to say when the host gets back. So yeah, Bon Evil will start this race on pole position alongside Tiger Assassin in second place. Topster will start in third alongside Cameron Kaboom in fourth. I am struggling. I'm making it. I'm doing it, guys. I'm doing it. Finn will start in fifth with Toussaint behind him in sixth, Wolfie in seventh, and Piero in eighth. Where's Costa? Costa started down in 12th, but he should get promoted back up to where he was. I think that's because he manually gave into the pits. Tej just sat in the pits, it's fine, he drove into the pits. We'll see where it puts Costa on the grid. But because there is no qualifying, we have to do it in the practice lobby. And there are a few rules about the qualifying. If you want to start the race on a different tyre to the one you qualified on, that's perfectly acceptable. But you have to leave the pit lane on the tyre you want to start the race on, and then pit in the practice session for a new set of tyres. If you manually select yourself to go back to the pits and change it, then you'll start the race on that tyre. But I think Costa didn't change, and he's on the medium, so he should start in the mediums. That's a very quick way of saying yes. Hopefully we can get this one started now. Or now. I tried and it's not working. But we're nearly there, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with us for the start of this race. Oh, that's new. We're bound straight on the grid. Usually it kicks us out into a menu. Anyway, like I said, Bon Evil on pole position. So here we go again now. Oh, hang on a minute. Here we go then, guys. The start of the GT7 League is about to get underway. And it's lights out, and away we go for 29 laps of the Nurburgring. Tiger Assassins off to a good start on the inside of Bon Evil as they make their way down in towards turn 1. Topster looming large in the background as all 12 drivers breaking for turn 1. Someone's on the grass. It's a black car. I'm not too sure who's in the black car. I think it's Nathaniel. We'll double check in a minute to see if anyone else has got away uncleanly. But Bon Evil back down the inside of Tiger through turn 2, and you've got Cameron Kaboom looming large on the inside of Topster. There's Finn on the inside of Toussaint in the background behind. They're 2 by 2 making their way through the first sector, but it is Bon Evil who leads in the Genesis, followed by Tiger Assassin in second place, and Cameron Kaboom with a good start in the Porsche has got up into third place. Looking in the background, Costa on the inside of Toussaint, who's dropped down into 7th place. The Mustang gets ahead of the Mercedes, but Toussaint's going to send one back down the inside into the following right-hander, goes alongside the Swiss driver as they make their way down into the hairpin. I believe it is called the Dunlop hairpin or something like that. But Costa braking late on the outside. Toussaint keeping his Mercedes tight on the inside. Piero trying to follow the Brit through but couldn't quite make anything of it, and Toussaint gets his way back up into 6th place at the start of this race. ND Wolfie down in 11th and 12th maybe had a bit of a collision, as I think it might have been Nathan who went off down towards turn 1. But it is a good start from Bon Evil, who keeps Tiger Assassin behind him. Cameron Kaboom almost looked like they were going wheel to wheel with Topster from the start of the race, and Toussaint looking racy behind that the other Mustang on the grid, running in 6th place at the minute, and he's Piero gapping Costa and Ted a little bit as they're going to go almost 3 wide towards the final chicane. Costa on the inside of Ted. Can he make this one stick? The Swiss gets ahead of the Irishman, and then Nathaniel might try and follow him through. Couldn't quite do anything of it in the Mercedes, and is starting this race on the soft compound tyre, as well as Ted. Costa on the mediums. Meanwhile, there's a bit of racing action going up in front between Topster and Finn. They're 3 wide with Toussaint on the inside. What's going on here? I don't know where this is all kicked off from, but it's so hard to see what's going on. Finn on the inside of Toussaint might try and send one on the inside of Cameron Kaboom as well. Going in towards turn 1, the Porsche sees him coming on the inside. Topster now going wheel to wheel with Toussaint, and they're 2 by 2 making their way up the hill through turn 2. It's so good. We're even on lap 2, fighting for 3rd place. Nearly had the all sets of 2s. Toussaint now on the inside of Finn makes a little bit of contact with the German, allows the other German, Topster, to slip back through on the inside, becomes the outside for turn 4, and with the old switcheroo, Topster now gets the position back up into 5th place, going wheel to wheel with Finn in the Ford Mustang. The Mercedes trying to go round the outside, Finn leaving him just enough room for the inside of turn 6 or 7. But it is Topster who gets the move done up in towards 5th place. And look at Piero in the McLaren trying to get racy behind the Mustang. Is he going to send a move down in towards the hairpin? Not on this occasion. But brilliant racing from the first 2 laps of this race. And we've still got 28 left to go. Bon Evil extending his advantage to Tiger Assassin. 1.8 seconds now separates the 2 British drivers. It's a Brit 1, 2, 3, 4 in the early phases of this race. Tops has dropped down to 5th place and Toussaint's promoted himself up into 4th. I'm not sure if there was any contact. We can't get a replay feature, unfortunately, because that's not in this game. Finn trying to send one back down the inside of Topster, but he keeps the position. Have I spoken too soon? Because the 2 Germans are going at it for 5th place, and it's cost Topster quite a lot of time, because he's now 1.4 seconds behind Toussaint, your Season 1 champion. And, well, against the season... What am I trying to say? Finn up the inside of Topster, I'm not too sure. It's late at night. And it's Friday. Why do I do this on Fridays? But Finn with a good move in towards the final chicane now gets back up into 5th place and ahead of Topster, bringing Piero, Costa, Nathaniel, Ted, Wolfie with him. The whole pack now on the start-finish straight. This is the close racing we want to see when Play Dutchie is in the lobby. Old Fears, well, no, Cameron Kaboom onto the grass, might have hit the back of Tiger Assassin going in towards turn 1. That unsettled the Porsche going in the braking zone, and Tiger might lose the position to his teammate. The 2 Mercedes going side by side through turn 2. Toussaint running a little bit wide onto the AstroTurf, but they are still door to door, making their way through the first sector of the Nurburgring, and Cameron Kaboom's lost another position to Finn. From the mistake at turn 1, he put a wheel onto the grass, causing the back end to step out, and then that lost all the braking grip, and unfortunately hit the back of Tiger Assassin, and he's gone wide in towards turn 5 onto the grass. Hopefully he can rejoin the track safely. Does indeed so, but he's going wheel to wheel with Pierre, and look at Nathaniel trying to get involved in this battle as well. Topster and Costa going wheel to wheel. It's difficult when 2 drivers have the same livery and they're next to each other on the track. Tiger Assassin gets back up ahead of Toussaint and his teammates into 2nd place, but all this squabbling, they're costing themselves so much time as Nathaniel now finds himself up into 7th place ahead of Piero and Cameron Kaboom. 10 Wolfie looking racy behind in 10th and 11th respectively. But what action we've had. I said at the start there would be action, and we certainly have got action at the start of this race. What a way to kickstart the season off, as Costa is trying to follow Topster through the 3rd sector. He's in the slipstream of the Mercedes. Is he going to go for a move into the chicane? We ride on board before getting back up into the cinematic cam. He's not close enough to go for a move in towards final chicane. Of Cameron Kaboom smelling the back of the McLaren, nearly shunting him off the track down towards the final chicane. Really fine margins in this race. I'm going to have to stop to take a drink in a minute. Unfortunately, I didn't refill. Let's head back up to the battle for 2nd place. Toussaint doesn't attempt one on his teammate. Costa, though, tries one on Topster towards the inside. Down towards turn 1, gets the move done up in towards 5th place, but Piero with the old switcheroo as Cameron Kaboom breaks too late, going in towards turn 1. Toussaint's got back past his teammate, so maybe a mistake from Tiger on the exit of turn 1. I didn't quite see that as I was looking back towards the battle between Nathaniel. He's losing positions to Cameron Kaboom and Piero. Cameron Kaboom and Nathaniel. There's contact between the 2. The Mercedes hits the side of the Porsche down in towards turn 3. There might be a stewards inquiry into that one, but the Mercedes holds 8th place for now. Maybe a little bit of desperation getting into a few of these drivers' heads at the opening laps of this race. I think Ted might have gone a little bit deep in towards turn 4. He's lost a little bit of time to his teammates, as Cameron Kaboom now follows the back of the Mercedes going in towards the hairpin. Doesn't send one towards the inside, and I think we can breathe for another 30 seconds as Finn is now caught up to the back of the 2 Mercedes drivers fighting for 2nd and 3rd place. Hello and welcome to everyone who's tuning into this race. You are privileged enough to have been to join us live for this amazing start to the season. More contact and overtakes between Nathaniel and Kaboom. There might have been a little bit of contact as the Porsche tries to go down the inside of the Mercedes, but it is Nathaniel who comes out on that battle on top. Meanwhile, Topster and Costa going side by side again, and we're only on lap 4, and it is the Swiss who makes his way ahead of the German. see Tiger Assassin suffering from a little bit more tyre wear than his teammate in front. Toussaint is closing the gap to your race winner and pole sitter Bon Evil. Finn may be tempted to go for a move on the inside in towards turn 1. It's getting a little bit overcast, but we know from the conditions in qualifying it's not going to rain in the first 25-ish minutes of this race, which doesn't mean it won't rain later on in the session. Topster still sits behind Costa as Cameron, Kaboom and Nathaniel continue to go wheel to wheel through the first sector of this track. I couldn't quite get the words out. There's the Porsche now ahead of the Mercedes. Runs a little bit wide though. Has Nathaniel got the drive on the exit of the corner? Yes, he has. He's now alongside Cameron Kaboom with the inside line. Late on the brakes. Cameron Kaboom now gets back up into 8th place, and this is a battle that I don't think will die down anytime soon. And joining the party is Wolfie and Ted. Bon Evil's picked up a 5/10 penalty somewhere on this lap. That's going to bring Toussaint closer to him. It's Tiger and Finn go wheel to wheel through the Schumacher S's, and the German in the Mustang gets the move done up into 3rd place and on to the podium on lap 5 of 29. Tiger Assassin had demoted to 4th place. If you ride on board with the Mercedes, he's got a good run through turn, I want to say 12, through 13 they go. He's in the slipstream, he's gaining all the time, he's gaining. Finn goes slightly defensive towards the inside, cuts back over to the racing line and maintains 3rd position, but he's gone a little bit deep over the curb on the exit. Is that going to give him a 5/10 penalty? I think he might have got away with one there. I think he lost a little bit of time to Toussaint, who's caught right up to the back of Bon Evil, having had served the 5/10 penalty and sets the fastest lap of the race. So strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a race for the lead on lap 6 of 29. And here goes Tiger Assassin now to the inside of Finn, late on the brakes, in towards turn 1. Door to door as the Mercedes squeezes out the Mustang. Finn loses the rear on the exit of the corner. Topster trying to go round the outside of Finn. That could be an ambitious move. He can make it stick. Does have a 5/10 penalty which he'll need to serve at the next penalty detection gate, which is located in the 3rd sector. We've got a driver into the pits. Not too sure who that is. I'll check it out in a minute, as Toussaint still trails Bon Evil by 4/10, but has closed the gap drastically. And look at the wear on those soft type compound tyres as Nathaniel is in and out of the pits. Finn going defensive to the inside as he tries to defend from Topster behind. That's allowed Tiger just to get a little bit of breathing space. Now pulls 5.5 clear of the Mustang. Here goes the Mercedes trying to go down the inside of Finn in towards the hairpin, but nothing doing on this lap. Topster taking a wider line on the entry. Finn's lost the rear, he's gone onto the gravel, and he's going to lose a position and a heap of time to Topster, who now gets his way up into 4th place, but does have a 5/10 penalty, so Finn might see himself back through at the end of this straight when Topster serves that time penalty, assuming it's for track limits. I mean, that's the only way you can get a 5/10 penalty. The gaps have started to open up a little bit between the drivers towards the back. We've got the 3 Irishmen separated by about 2.5 seconds between them all. ND trying to close onto the back of Wolfie. Meanwhile, Finn and Costa running 4th and 5th as Topster now gets demoted down to 6th place, having served the 5/10 penalty, and runs 5.7 seconds off your race leader. 5.6, 5.5. Maybe Bon Evil's made a mistake. The Genesis looking a little bit out of shape as they make their way through the final corner. Is this going to be Toussaint's chance to take the lead of the race here in the Nurburgring? It doesn't look like he's close enough to go for a lunge on the inside, but we've seen it being sent from a further distance in the past. And with all the squabbling that happened on the last lap, Tiger Assassin's now got some breathing space behind him. 1.5 seconds. He's got 3 seconds to close down to his teammates, and his tyre wear on the front, so just looking a little bit more worn than Toussaint. Tyre wear though is looking fairly even throughout the grid. Piero though probably with the best, as we now watch Topster trying to close down the 2 FGR teammates in front of him. Whether we see team orders between these two or not, we'll just have to wait and see. The 2 Mustangs teaming up this season, Finn and Costa, running in a solid 4th and 5th place. There's Toussaint nearly pushing Bon Evil through the second sector. The Mercedes all over the back of the Genesis. This is the view that Bon Evil has from behind. You can see the Mercedes, the grille, ready to cook up a move for the lead. I was trying to make a cooking reference with the grille, but never mind. Bon Evil, though, purple through the first sector, responding to the pressure that Toussaint's putting on behind. 2 tenths, less than 2 tenths, now a tenth if they make their way through the final sector. Toussaint late on the brakes, down the inside, in towards the final chicane, goes a little bit deeper, keeps it within the track limits, and takes the lead of the race on lap 27 of 29, rounding the final corner. One Brit ahead of another, but will Bon Evil have a better chance of an overtake with the slipstream down towards turn 1? I have absolutely no idea how long the straight is, because I didn't get the GT7 facts and statistics when making the lobby, and to be honest, I didn't actually make the lobby, so I couldn't get the statistics for you. But Bon Evil really putting Toussaint under pressure, taking a different line actually to the driver in front, going through the first corner. It looks like he took a bit more, quite tighter on the inside. Toussaint appears to be taking a wider line through the first corner. Thompson drifting his way through turn 2, on the exit of turn 2. Maybe the medium tyres starting to lose a little bit of performance. Having said that though, lap times are still fairly close and competitive. For those wondering about the music in the background, don't worry, it is non-copyrighted music from the game itself. There's a broadcast setting that you can turn on. I thought it'd be nice to have a little bit of music in the background during these races. Just if I'm quiet, going for a drink or something, it's not dead silent. But if you want me to get rid of it for the future streams, if it does become annoying, I will get rid of it. But I think it's kind of nice having the little... Anyway, back to the racing action. We've got a 3-way fight for 4th place between Finn, Costa and Tobster, running in 4th, 5th and 6th. Toussaint starting to pull out an advantage to Bon Evil. The gap now 5/6 tenths of a second. Having said that though, the gap has come back down to 4 tenths, making their way through the left-right kind of sequence of corners, turns 11 and 12 here at the Nurburgring. But have we got any other overtakes happening on the grid? It looks like Ted's just come in for a fresh set of the medium compounded tyres. He's on his out lap, so he would have just pulled into the pits and has put in a full tank of fuel in the Supra. Piero is actually gaining on the drivers in front of him. It looks like the gaps are actually coming down between the field. Looks like the field's coming a lot more closer together as Toussaint leads the field by 3 tenths of a second, and that was close between Bon Evil, almost rear-ending the back of the Mercedes. I thought that Genesis was going to pay a trip into the boot of Mercedes, but thankfully it did not. But you can see Finn skating on Tiger, and he's bringing Costa with him. Tobbs is just dropping off the back of the 2 Mustangs, and that's bringing Piero now back into the fight. He's only 7 seconds behind the race leader. Cameron Kaboom, after the mistake early on down towards turn 1, and subsequently the rest of the lap with dirty tyres, he's only 3 seconds behind Piero, so the grid is still fairly closely compact to each other. And we've still got plenty of racing laps to go. Lap 9 of 29. For those watching live on Twitch, let me know in the chat who you think is going to win this race. Any shock, any out of the blue, what's the phrase then? No, it is shock. Yeah, any shock predictions, anything? Let me know what you think in the comments. I feel like something changed in the leaderboard, but I'm not too sure. Something definitely flashed. But anyway, we are almost approaching the end of the quali mark. We're 17 minutes into this race, and well, after 20, we don't know what the weather will be like, because the weather in the practice lobby is the same for the race. So we know it's at least dry, and Nathaniel has disconnected, our first retiree from this race. We're now down to 11 drivers. Oh, and that promotes me to on the grid, which means we've got to wait. Actually, no, never mind. I'll just keep the game features to itself. I need a drink because my throat is honestly about to explode, as Piero has actually got ahead of Topster, both with 5/10 penalties. I will be back in 3 seconds as I just take a quick break. say. Apologies about the delay. Apologies as well about the lack of English. I did see a comment. I think it was someone saying one of the FTR drivers would win the race. That is Finn or Costa. One of them has actually just set the fastest first sector on lap 10 on those worn medium tyres and is within the slipstream range of Tiger Assassin in front. Two Saints pulled out a 1.1 second advantage to Bon Evil in second place, but Tiger now finds himself under pressure from Finn, Costa and Pierre and Topster are just going to drop off with their 5-10 penalties. Topster's got a little bit deep in towards the hairpin, almost going into the gravel, and he's costing himself time to Piero. But Finn and Tiger now the battle on track for third place. I wonder what the weather has on offer for us today, because it did rain last time we went to the Nurburgring, and it can rain at the Nurburgring. So I'm not saying it will rain, but it would be nice if it did, even if it's just a little shower to change the mood essentially. But 20 minutes in, another 40 to go. I'm not lucky, what's the word I'm thinking of? I'm grateful, and thankfully my internet hasn't actually died yet, which is perfect. Exactly what we want to see. Except something else we want to see is the battle for third place, the final step on the podium. Cameron Kaboom and Topster pull it into the pits off the medium compounder tyres as Tiger having to defend into the turn 1 from Finn and Costa. Two Mustangs looming large in his rear view mirror. You can just about see them over the rear wing. As this is our closest battle on track as things stand. Hello, welcome to everyone who is watching us live, and also everyone who's watching back on YouTube or even back on Twitch. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, or have had a fantastic day. Actually, I should have said that at the start. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night from wherever you're watching this in the world. How are you guys doing? I didn't actually do that at the start. I was too busy talking about my internet issues at the start of the stream. Apologies, but hope you guys are enjoying. Anyway, back to the racing action, because that's what you guys are here to see. You want to see these guys wheel to wheel on the circuit, off into the barrier, on fire, upside down, because that's what you want to see. You're here for the crashes. You're waiting for the highlights of all the top 10 crashes of the season to be uploaded to YouTube. That's what you're doing. I can see you. I see your viewers just skipping forward, looking for the yellow flags and the safety cars. There are no safety cars in this race, but look at the wind, look at the weather, look at the wind. The wind's picking up. The last time it done this, it rained. It rained the last time the wind picked up this heavy. I'm getting my hopes up now because we're at 9 meters per second in terms of wind. This could make for an interesting second half of the race if it is to rain. Everyone do your rain dances in the chat, or however you're watching this. If you're at work, stop working, do the rain dance, sing the little rain song, because we want it to rain. Drivers are about to, or could be putting off the medium compound tyres in the next few laps, and it is getting quite overcast, and there is the chance of rain.